I can make you a bunch of money. Do you want in or out? If I was just the developer, I wouldn't be doing any of that. But some of the detail stuff as a builder, man, it is hard work for me. Welcome back to Brian Bandas Builds a Business, where we talk about real estate development, we talk about business building, and we talk about how to do both while staying sane and healthy in mind, body, and spirit. So this week we're going to take a step backwards and we're going to hit on some basics. We're going to hit the fundamentals. This is Real Estate Development 101. We're going to cover such things as what is real estate development? How do you do a real estate development deal? Who should try to do real estate development? And if you do it, who do you need to know in order to do it? Should you even try to do it? And if you should, why? So we're going to keep it short and concise. We're going to get right down to business. Let's go to the job sites. This is Real Estate Development 101. Now let's start with this. What is real estate development? Now I'm going to give you my definition. I actually just saw a reel yesterday where somebody described it a little bit differently, but here's how I look at it. Real estate development is the process of acquiring or at least controlling a piece of property, residential, commercial, doesn't matter, a piece of property, and then in one way or another, improving that property and improving the value of that property. Usually you're looking to take the property to highest and best use. What that means, by the way, is let's say, for instance, we've got a property, it's got a little house on it. Maybe it was built back in the 60s, it's got a little house on it, but now it's a large commercially zoned lot. Well, the highest and best use might be apartments, townhouses, office space, something like that. The property is far more valuable as a commercial lot, being used as a commercial lot, than it is as a small house. Or maybe you've got vacant land, and the reality is it's more valuable if you put a house on it than as just a patch of dirt. So development generically is taking that property and improving it, increasing the value, and then in theory you're selling it and capturing the value that you've created in the form of profit. So if I took that vacant lot and the lot cost me $100,000 and I spent $200,000 to put a little house on it, and that house in the market was worth $400,000, well, that gap, that $100,000 gap, I created that value and I then sell it and I capture that as profit. I think it's important to distinguish between development and building. Building is often, usually a part of it, but the developer and the builder are two different roles. Today's actually a perfect example. I'm doing a lot of builder related work. I'm here at a property on the west side of Nashville. I'm the general contractor, not just the developer. And I'm doing a ton of work to finish this project. I'm making checklists. I'm putting different hardware in that got missed, sending different text messages to my subcontractors. It's all of this general contractor work trying to finish this project as the builder. Now, if I weren't the builder, if I was just the developer, I wouldn't be doing any of that. I'd be letting my builder handle it. That's what I'm paying him to do. And then he'll let me know when it's done and we're ready to sell it. I've actually done several videos here recently discussing whether or not you should build or develop or do both. And you can check those out right here. I'm not going to tell you there's a right answer, but it is important to know the difference between the two as you begin to sort of try to figure out which way you want to go. So to start with the basics, development is simply taking a piece of property of some kind, improving it in some way, creating value, and then capturing that value typically in the form of profit. Honestly, as a side note, some of the detail stuff as a builder, man, it is hard work for me to like figure out, to make all the checklists and everything. Here I am checking, hardware and towel rings and mirrors and making sure they're all good. And like, I'd much rather be putting deals together, to be honest with you. All right, we're back in the office. Quick pause. If you're watching this, I suppose maybe you are exploring the possibility of real estate development. You're new to it, you're checking it out, something like that. I wrote a book. It's called Real Estate Development 101. This is not really a sales pitch. I think I get like $4 each time one of these sells, but you might find it helpful. It's a good way to dip your toe in the water and just kind of hear about what development is about. It covers a lot of the basics, some of the stuff that's in the video here today. It's on Amazon. There's a link in the description. So go check it out. And if you want a copy, but you just don't have $10, I will give a free copy to somebody who comments on this video. The free book from the last video goes to Kevin God 7775. There's an underscore in there somewhere. Kevin, when you see this, I'm gonna comment on your previous comment. Shoot me a message, I'll mail you a book. I mean, hey, 10 bucks. I mean, it's gotta be worth 10 bucks, right? If you learn about real estate development, you do a deal. My first deal, I made $25,000. That's a decent ROI, right? As you guys know, in order to stay sane and healthy in mind, body, and spirit, I like to get sweaty in the middle of my work day. It helps me reset and focus and stay feisty. So let's go break a sweat real quick and then we'll get back to building houses. Okay, all right. Progress. All right, made some progress on muscle ups, not perfect, but I started to feel a little bit of that smoothness. Now it's time to lift heavy. We got 15 rounds every 2 minutes, doing a barbell complex with 2 deadlifts, 2 hanging power cleans, 2 front squats, and 2 overhead presses. I'm gonna do my body weight. I'm at 200, I'm gonna do 205. That's harder than I expected. I did 10 rounds, full confession, not 15. Definitely had some failed overhead presses there towards the end, but got it done, feel good. Bad rad dad. Bad rad dad, bad rad dad. Dive store. If you have a really cool, strong dad that you love, a brother, husband, father, friend, who you think is a great dad, go snag him some bad rad dad gear. Now, let's go develop some real estate. So maybe the next logical question is, how do you do it? And I typically break it down into 3 basic ingredients. Those who have watched the channel have heard it before. You find some land, you get a builder, and you pull together some money. My experience is that the game is about putting a good team together. Do I have a good relationship with a lender? Do I have a really good builder or general contractor who I trust? Do I have attorneys, bookkeepers, accountants, different engineers or architects? For me, the whole game is putting together this team because it's a big process with a lot of moving parts. And I'm not an architect or an engineer. For a long time, I wasn't the builder. And so I would lean on these people and their expertise to help me figure out that piece of the puzzle. So real estate development, really, you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to develop the skill of building a good team and building great relationships with those team members. And to me, that's the beauty. Because the next question was, who can do it? And I think to a degree, my answer is anyone. That's what I love about it. There's no gatekeepers. I didn't have a college degree. I don't have a college degree. I didn't have to wait for someone to hire me. The closest thing to a gatekeeper was that I had to put some work in to find investor partners, but that was still something that I could go out and put in effort and learn and grow and devise a strategy and pull those investors in. And at that point, there's no one that can stop me from doing it. I can offer on deals and lots and houses and land until somebody accepts my offer. I can work with banks to figure out what it'll take to get the financing I need. Okay, you need more money down? I'll talk to my investor partners. You need a co-signer? All right, I'm gonna call somebody and structure a deal and give them equity to co-sign. There's always a way, there's a solution. And so there isn't this bottleneck of, oh, sorry, you just didn't get hired for the job you want, or you didn't get into the school that you thought you needed to get into. The truth is, anybody can go out, make an offer, find investor partners. And if you have a great deal, when you're looking for investor partners, you're basically saying, hey, I can make you a bunch of money. Do you want in or out? So to me, the beauty of real estate investing and the beauty of real estate development is that the truth is anyone can do it. Don't hear me wrong. I'm not saying anyone can do it easily. I don't think anyone at all can do it easily. but anyone can do it. That brings me to the final question. And by the way, check this room out. How cool is this office? We got the green ceiling and the green trim, the built-in. I mean, it's pretty slick. So the question is, why would you consider doing it? Especially when I'm telling you, it's not easy. And to me, the answer is threefold. First of all, I find the work to be incredibly gratifying. The fact that it's so difficult and the fact that it's so challenging and that the stakes are high makes it all the more fulfilling to figure out how to do it and figure out how to win this crazy game. Secondly, and probably the most obvious, or the one that most people think of, is the money. There is really wonderful earning potential in real estate development. It doesn't come easily, but you are rewarded for learning these challenging skills and for being the person who's willing to take the risks and build the relationships and go out and hustle and hunt down deals and opportunity. If everything is an exchange of value, think about the amount of value that you as a developer create for others. Not only are you creating this building, maybe it's a house or an office space that someone needs, but between the beginning and the end, you have provided work for hundreds of people and income for hundreds of people. So you provide this immense amount of value by taking risk, taking on immense responsibility, and you're rewarded. And on top of that, I think that this goes hand in hand with the potential, the earning potential, that is the freedom of time. Now I work hard and I work a lot, but I do work for myself, and I get to decide oftentimes when I'm gonna work, if I'm gonna go on site today or work in the office. There's so much flexibility, and maybe that applies generally to choosing to work for yourself. Real estate development is no different. Because I've been doing this as my career, I have had a really wonderful amount of time to spend with my kids and with my wife, to spend doing fitness, which you guys know I care about. Like, those things haven't had to take a complete backseat to me trying to make a really good living. Now, like everything, it ebbs and flows, right? Some weeks are just crazy, and that happens. But I do have a lot of freedom, and that is probably the thing I'm most thankful for when it comes to this career. So that's Real Estate Development 101, and it's really actually pretty dang simple. You find a property, you make it better, you sell it. I've told countless people over the years it's not that different than flipping a house, right? The only difference is I'm not only painting the drywall and redoing the floors, right? I'm building the house from scratch. But if you think about a total gut job, if I bought an old house and did a true gut job renovation, I'm going all the way to the studs. Well, dang, the only difference from there to new construction is that I'm building the foundation and the framing. And then where are we at? We're at the studs, and I'm doing the same thing. Hope that gives some clarity and maybe makes you realize that it is doable. Real estate development, it's not rocket science. Now, it takes guts. It takes a lot of initiative. It is a little scary. There's risk involved. So you got to do it smart. But in my opinion, it's absolutely worth it. All right, my fellow business builders, real estate developers, investors, and just downright good-looking people, I hope that that was helpful to you. I know for many of you, you might already be, deeper into the development game, and maybe some of this was like, I've heard it all before. But for some of you, I really hope that this allowed you to see that it is not rocket science. I have never once said it's easy, and I'm not going to, but I do believe anyone can do it. You can definitely do it. So as usual, if these videos are making you a better real estate developer, a better entrepreneur, a better real estate investor, maybe a better person in some way, then hook me up with one of those, and one of those, and one of those, and I'll see you next time. Don't be afraid to go take some action.